Welcome to another episode of the RBV Show. Well, it's going to be a great adventure, and it's going to be a great episode if we're talking about adventures. Anyway, I hope all is well. Let's just recap the week. Well, the lock of the week went 2-0, which was clutch. Kansas City covered, and Tampa Bay freaking beat the crap out of the Eagles. We'll get to what's the future of the Eagles, at a later segment. And we'll also talk about Bill Belichick. And his, him getting let go. Talk about the hiring of Gerard Mayo, which is, it's an interesting hire. And we'll also talk about other news in the NFL. But first, let's talk about, the lock of the week. As I said, it went 2-0. I'm happy that the people made some money off it. Some people informed me that they had steak dinners, which was nice. Hopefully they paid their groceries, etc. But you know what? That was last week. I mean, who needs last week? It's over. It's like, Robbie V, what the hell have you done for me lately? I mean, that's a very true statement. So let's get into this week's lock of the week, and we'll preview all the games. First off, we have the Texans versus the Ravens. Now, the Texans actually did play the Ravens very well at the beginning of the season. I remember Houston. The Ravens didn't cover. This is actually one of my earlier lock of the weeks that didn't hit. I think, though, with Houston having to play in the wild card game, and, the Ravens had a nice week to rest, it's also going to be wicked cold. It's going to be tough to throw the ball. And, I think the Ravens are just overall are a better team. And they're obviously not going to take the Texans lightly. Minus 9.5, that's a lot. I don't know. To me, that's a lot to lay, especially on a, East Coast, cold East Coast game. And the Texans can play defense, when they want to. Although there wasn't much defense played last week against the Browns, so maybe I might eat my words on that. I'm not going to tell you to bet the money line because, minus 425. I don't think anyone should be betting their water and power and potentially a week of groceries to get $100. I don't think that's a good business decision. It's a quote from Rob V. The show's talking about business decisions. We're evolving here. All right. Overall, I do think the Ravens are going to win. Although, if I did have to put money on this game, I'd probably, bid the line down to 7. That's just so you don't have the 9.5 hook. All these lines are as of DraftKings, so you just gotta, lines are gonna change, but hey, what are you gonna do? Overall, I would say, like I said before, I think the Ravens are gonna win. If you're looking for individual player parlays. Or CG, CGP, SGP, CGP, CBD. Man, what is wrong with me tonight? I think Zay Flowers is a good one. He's really emerged this year for the Ravens. He's been playing great lately. Obviously, the numbers aren't out yet, but I would just take the over on receptions. There's also an interesting, anytime touchdown score. But we'll see what happens. We'll get back to the game in a minute. Packers-Niners. This one's another one where the spread's really high, and it's out in San Fran. It is the night game, or is the night game on the East Coast. It'll be 5 in San Fran. But let's be honest. The Packers looked great last week. They took Dallas to the woodshed. I was really surprised. I thought the Cowboys were going to put up so much a bigger fight. The defense for the Cowboys couldn't stop anybody. Aaron Jones, Packers just ran through the Cowboys defense. Aaron Jones played great, and Jordan Love, had himself a day. Do I think he's going to have a day against the Niners defense? Not like he did last week, obviously. Niners, I just think, are a team on a mission. They have the extra week of rest, and they're playing really, they've been playing really well, and they got a great defense. That being said, 9.5 is just it's a lot of points to lay, and I know it's the playoffs, and as much as Brock Purdy, he hasn't played that well lately. I think the Niners are going to win, but I'm not going to tell you about the money line because, again, it's minus $440. Betting the electric bill and the water bill, definitely, for $100, probably not the best call. I think if you want value this week, and the next game is going to be the lock of the week. I think you got to go with Tampa Bay versus not Tampa Bay. In the Tampa Bay Detroit Lions game, I think you got to go with the Lions for the following reasons. Number one, I understand Tampa Bay beat the Eagles. They played great. They played a great game. But I would also argue the Eagles quit about midway through that, and the Eagles secondary was a fucking mess. Matt Patricia, I don't know what defense he was calling, and he couldn't get defensive plays he was calling. He couldn't get anyone organized. Tampa Bay had a very hard time dealing with the Eagles pass rush. I think Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham, I believe what his name was, had a sack, and Mayfield was under pressure all night, which is one of the reasons why I'm going with the Lions. I don't think that the Eagles really in their game plan targeted the Buccaneers' weaknesses. The Buccaneers don't have a good running defense, like not at all. On the selective plays that the Eagles did run, I mean, they ran for a lot of yards. It was a couple, and I don't know why that they insisted on, just passing the ball, especially without AJ Brown. It was one of the most confusing offensive game plans I've ever seen in my life. And, I don't know what Sirianni was thinking, and and that's really on him. And we'll get to Sirianni later. But so why do I think the Lions are going to, win this game and cover the spread? So first of all, the spread right now is minus 6.5. You buy that down to minus 6. And even if it's fucking 8.5 by the time it's airs, you buy it down to 6. So that's the lock of the week. All right, reasons why I think the Lions are going to win. Number one, they have a running game, and they have the discipline to take advantage of Tampa Bay's weak defensive line. So you're going to look at, you look at David Montgomery. You're going to look at, I think his name is, you look at Gibbs, the running back. They got a great offensive line, that has been throughout the season. I mean, they bullied Kansas City in week 1, and they really ran well against the Rams last week in the playoffs. So the running game obviously is going to take over. Number 2, they have a quarterback in Jared Goff that's going to be able to take advantage of the Buccaneers secondary. And they got a lot of weapons. I mean, St. Brown is unbelievable. The way he plays, he's a freaking nature. He's a great player. And, Lions should lock him up at wide receiver. Finally, I think the Lions defense is going to be able to create enough of a pass rush to basically, stop the Buccaneers offense. The Buccaneers offense can't run the ball. I think we all know that. I mean, they tried and failed against Philly. I think one of the plays, for God's sakes, the defensive line was in the backfield by the time, the running back got the ball. So I think, the Lions are going to take them to basically make the Buccaneers offense one-dimensional. They're not going to be able to run the ball. The Buccaneers are going to be able to the Lions are going to be able to pin their ears back. And I think those are the reasons why that, Lions is the lock of the week this week. It was one of the locks of the week. I think the other lock of the week, to be honest, is if I were to put it, is I think that I would take the under in the Niners game. It's 50.5 right now, but I don't know. I don't have strong convictions about that. All right, let me. I just don't. I could see the Niners just rolling, unfortunately. And I can't give shit ass. What's it called? Oh, we got receiving props. Hold on. Okay. You want a lock of the week? Fine. Zay Flowers over 51.5 yards. That's your second lock of the week. It's plus 100 right now on DraftKings. Why is he going to get over 51.5? Number one is fucking Zay fucking Flowers. No, the guy lives in big games. He doesn't shy away from anything. He's a damn good player. And, the Ravens are going to need him. He's playing fucking great. And that's a joke that's that low. That's a super lock of the week. You fucking do Zay for 51.5 and maybe take parlay the Ravens to – if you parlay the Ravens to win, that's – dead air. Gotta love it. If you parlay that with the Ravens to win, that's plus 128. You go to DraftKings, you do like one of those stupid single parlays, single game parlays. They'll give you like a 25-30% bonus. That'll make you some decent money for $25. So basically, the two locks of the week are Zay Flowers over 51.5 yards, and the Lions at -6. 6. Those are the locks of the weeks, folks. And we're going to get to the last game here. 1 o'clock. 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 1 o'c Kansas City Chiefs versus the Buffalo Bills. Honestly, this game could go either way. I wouldn't bet on this game for a lot of reasons. Okay, number one, there's another 1 to 3 feet of snow that's supposed to hit Buffalo, New York, this week. This week being, tonight, tomorrow. Tonight's Wednesday, so tomorrow, Thursday, and then hopefully they have it cleared by Friday. So, hopefully they'll probably have it cleared by Sunday. But it's going to be fucking cold. Buffalo, I don't think it's going to be able to practice, and Kansas City is going to have a hell of a time getting in there. Which is going to be tough. I just, the over under is 45. I mean, this could turn into a shootout real quick, or because of the cold and the wind's blowing at 20 miles an hour. They could just be running the ball all day and the clock just bleeds. So I just wouldn't touch this. I mean, who do I want to win, and who do I think is going to win? I mean, I want Buffalo because I love the Chiefs to be out. And that's the way that it is. It's a Patriots fan in me. But I think the Chiefs could get the calls to basically put them over the top, so you'd have a Ravens Bills. But hopefully the NFL wakes up. But finally, this would be a game where you play the money line, because it's basically Chiefs are plus 120 and Buffalo Bills are minus 142. So that's it for the NFL picks. So there's been a lot of NFL news. So first and foremost, breaking news as of 5 minutes before I started recording. Dallas is retaining McCarthy, Mike McCarthy, which is kind of surprising to me, but at the same point, like continuity means a lot. Maybe this is McCarthy's last chance. I was surprised that Jones did not put Belichick on a plane after that loss to Green Bay, but it's here nor there. I also think the Cowboys, I mean, they laid such a huge egg, and I was quite surprised. I mean, Dak played like shit, and you just have to be better than that. But you'll see what happens with America's team. The other team is the Eagles, which news broke. I think it was news broke today that it's supposedly Jeffrey Lurie, whatever the fuck his name is, isn't the biggest fan of Bill Belichick. Which is fine, but after your team got fucking dropped like that, the talent that they have, and Jalen Carr, Fletcher Cox, Graham, AJ Brown, Hurts, Swift, others, Devontae Smith, others. I mean, that team's ready to win now, and I realize, they have a lot of free agents. But if you're Laura, don't you just shell out the checkbook and do what you need to do, have some people restructure their contracts, and just get a bunch of free agents in and make a 1-year run with Belichick? I mean, it seems like a good idea to me, because Sirianni should be fired. I mean, that performance was terrible. I mean, ever since he went on that Redskins rant, it was the team's played like shit, and I think you could even argue that he's lost the locker room. But it's here nor there, and it's inexcusable for a team to go down like that, especially in the playoffs. Dope of the day. Dope of the day goes to the idiot fan who threw a bucket of popcorn on Nick Sirianni in Tampa. It was all over Barstool. I don't know. Like, I've said a lot of stupid things at sporting events, and I've never quite gotten to the level of anger where I've thrown a physical object that I paid for in popcorn at someone. And then and even a bigger dope of the day move was the fact of the matter was the guy just slowly, gingerly, walked away. Like, he didn't run. Like, if you're going to throw a bucket of popcorn, you get spotted by security, you probably shouldn't just slowly take a, nice stroll up the ramp and think you're not going to get caught. This guy needs a serious attitude problem. And it's, and I wish him the best in life, but I don't think he's going to be doing much of it, other than sitting in Tampa Bay jail right now, trying to figure out how to get out of jail and get a good lawyer. It's unacceptable. Wonk of the week. I don't know. I think Wonk of the week goes to John Kerry, who told everyone to stop burning fossil fuels at Davos. That's one way to go, John. I don't know. Yeah, good job, great effort. MVP goes to I don't know his name, but the guy who did the video of at Davos who said "fuck you, Klaus Schwab," and that whole bit. I'm sure it's all over Twitter. I don't know his name. That was absolutely hysterical. MVP also goes to Kansas City, and it also goes to what's the name, Tampa Bay, for winning me some money. I appreciate that. For the lock of the week. Other things to talk about. Well, the lake effect snow. I mean, it was really insane in Buffalo. I also don't think I was very surprised that the Bills didn't. Actually, dope of the day goes to Bills management for the following reason. Actually, wonk of the week goes to the Buffalo Bills stadium management for the following reasons. Number one, you need to they basically knew the snow was coming, so offering $20 an hour to shovel out the stadium probably wasn't going to cut it. They probably should have upped that to 40. I mean, and they probably would have had more people, so people would not have been sitting in freaking snowdrifts. I don't really, I'm very happy that game went off without a hitch. But my God, I mean, if you get people are like, oh, why are they standing? Well, no offense, you can't really sit down in a freaking huge ass snowdrift. It's ridiculous. And number two, the Buffalo Bills. Stadium management. I mean, God's sakes, why not give someone a free beverage coupon, or free beer, free hot dog? I mean, Jesus Christ, it's like we can't shove out the stadium, but here's a free hot dog, son. I don't know. All right, that's it. The show's over. Well, it's not over, but I'll be back next week with locks of the week. For conference championship weekend. We'll also discuss other things, but before you do anything, I want you to subscribe to the Kirk Minahan Network, and I also want you to watch Mount Kirkmore, Quantum Kirk, Steve from Gloucester. There was a movie review show. I hadn't watched it myself. Give that a call. And watch Mike and the Minifans every Friday night. All right. Well, this is RBV signing off, and this week's show is sponsored by Sam Adams Beer. Have a nice cold snap for this nice winter weather. All right. Have a good night.